But what if I responded and said, but Jack, I'm actually pretty happy right now. So I'm not sure that I need to believe in Jesus because my life is on track. What would you say? All right, I'm going to take you down a math road right now. And this is going to maybe seem very unfamiliar, but I'm going to ask you some math questions. Okay. Not like what's 17 times 408. Math. Why do you believe, Jack, that when we do math equations, we always have a consistent outcome? Every time we add 2 and 2, it's always 4. It never changes. It's not random. It seems guided, as if there are laws of math that are fixed. Why do you suppose that is?
I would just say, that's what I love about math, and what's cool about math is that, it just seemed like whoever created math just knew that there was outcomes to everything. And, I think it goes along with a lot of things in this world that if you put 2 and 2 together, you're going to find there's always going to be a solution.
Yeah, but here's where I'm going with this, and you tell me if this tracks and makes sense. If there wasn't somebody who wrote down the laws and enforces the laws, there would be no laws. You and I can drive as fast as we want if there aren't any laws, but the authorities said you only go 55, so that's what we do. Same thing as with math. 7 times 7, always going to be 49. Who do you think is standing behind those laws, and who wrote them?
I would just say, it goes back to early times, and those early philosophers who were writing those math laws. It just seems like, and I trust them. They were smart guys, so they're the ones who wrote the laws, and so I just go off what they wrote.
Yeah, okay, so they wrote them. Do you think they created them or discovered them?
I think they discovered them. I think that down the line, people would have discovered them later, but so I think they were there and they discovered them.
Yeah, I think so too, because let's say Plato or Socrates or Euripides or whoever the math geek was back then, they came up with something, they can't enforce it. Yeah. So all they're doing is discovering what's already there. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to circle back to the same question then. Where do you suppose, who put those laws there? That's what I'm trying to noodle through.
I would just say for me, I'm a spiritual guy, so for me, maybe just started in the beginning, and God, started with him, and he, through different creations and stuff we look at, beginning in the Bible, it just started with him, and like you said, the people later discovered these things, that he created them.
So you said spiritual, then you said Bible, so you must be either Jewish or Christian.
Yeah, Christian.
All right, so you're a Christian. So you would say to me, the one who stands behind math is the creator of the universe, God.
Yes, sir.
And you know that how?
I would just say just based off my faith, based off learnings and teachings that God created everything, created the heavens and the earth, and so for me, he created math and created what we think about math today.
Science, laws of nature. All right, so Jack, do me a favor. If I came up to you and said, dude, we've had a couple of classes together, you seem like you got your act together, and I've heard you're a Christian. Would you please share with me why you think I should become a Christian? How would you go about doing that?
I would just say for me, definitely not forcing it upon you or anything, but for me, it's really just changed my life and just the way I find happiness, really. It used to be through just works and just outside things, other satisfactions, but for me, it's just through my faith and through learning about Jesus and growing, it's just brought a whole new happiness to my life, and I just really enjoyed it, and continue to enjoy to learn more about it and grow in my faith. So, yes, sir.
I don't doubt that for a second. But what if I responded and said, but Jack, I'm actually pretty happy right now. So I'm not sure that I need to believe in Jesus because my life is on track. What would you say?
I'd probably say I understand that, and but I would definitely say there's going to be some points down. Maybe it's not now or a year or two from now, but definitely in the future where there's going to be some hopeless points in your life where you definitely feel like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I going to turn? And I would just say I'd come back to what I said about just God and being able to go to Him, and definitely that's where He'll be your comfort, and He's there for you.
Okay, so let me turn the tables on you for a second. Let's say you came up to me and you said, "Hey, I hear that you're a Christian. Share with me why you think I should become a Christian." This is how I would be inclined to go about it. You tell me what you think, all right? I would say, well, Jack, let's start with some questions. All right? Would you consider yourself to be a good person?
I feel like I would. I just try to be nice to everyone, be kind, try not to judge many people, try not to judge much, and just try to be as genuine in myself and good person as possible. So I would say yes.
All right. So again, remember, we're turning the tables here, and I'm trying to potentially share with you why I think you should become a Christian. I would say, well, Jack, with your permission, I'd like to test your statement that you're a good person. And the way that I'd like to do it is by holding up a mirror to you so that you can see what you look like based on a standard of morality, the Ten Commandments. So do you think that you have always kept the Ten Commandments?
No, I have not.
Have you told lies?
I have.
Stolen things?
I have.
Looked at a woman with lust?
I have.
Okay, help me out. You said before you're a pretty good person, but we just went through 3 commandments, and you admitted, I didn't accuse you, but you admitted to me that you've broken those laws. Wouldn't that actually make you a not good person?
Yeah, I would just, like you're saying, especially believing in the Christian faith, no one's perfect, and it's definitely, you're not going to follow the rules all the time. But so I would say, I'd say, yes, I'm not a good person and I'm not perfect, but it's about acknowledging your faults and trying to learn from them and correct them and be the better person. Because obviously everyone's going to lie in their life. Everyone's going to have lust towards women or men. So I would just say it's about being able to acknowledge that you did it, ask for forgiveness, and just learn from your mistakes and be a better person for it.
If we were pulled into court and we had a stack of fines, we've broken a bunch of laws. If I said to the judge, I'm a criminal, but I'm not going to do it anymore. I've learned my lesson. Should the judge let me go?
No. They shouldn't.
Because justice needs to be satisfied.
There's laws, and you break the laws, then, like you said, justice needs to be satisfied.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and so then going back to why I think you should consider the claims of Jesus Christ is because if God just lets guilty criminals go without a payment for their crimes, He's not just. That would be a judge who turns his eye to the law books, and says, I'm not going to uphold those standards. He'd be a corrupt judge. He'd be thrown off the bench. God isn't corrupt. He's not going to be bribed. He's not persuaded, or he doesn't balance out the scales with good deeds. Lawbreakers must be punished. But God is rich in mercy, and He desires to save sinners. But here's the tension in our situation, Jack. God has to punish lawbreakers, but God desires to save sinners. Do you see the tension that exists there? So to break that tension and to be both just and the justifier of people, He sent His Son, lived a perfect life, never committed any of those crimes, died on a cross, taking the punishment that we deserve. So if we will give Him our rap sheet, He gives us His resume. We give him our sins. He gives us his righteousness. So I would say to you, Jack, thanks for asking about how to become a Christian. The issue isn't about happiness. The issue is about righteousness and holiness. And the only one who can make you holy is Jesus Christ. And without him, you're going to have to face that same God on Judgment Day. The books will be opened. Every deed done in darkness will be revealed. And I think we understand the consequences are going to be quite severe. So run to Jesus Christ. Put your trust in him. He'll forgive you. He'll adopt you. And even if your life is happy right now, you'll have a joy that is indescribable because you'll be reconciled to your Maker. That's how I'd go about doing it. What do you think?
I completely agree.
So here's my question for you, Jack. How does somebody get that? If Jesus Christ offers forgiveness to everybody, what does an individual need to do to be forgiven?
I would just say it's firstly acknowledge your sin and go to Jesus. I mean, obviously, if it's against the person, go to the person that you committed the act against. But definitely, it's going to Jesus and acknowledging what you did and really being sorry and taking accountability and really just praying in your heart that he can forgive you and that he can just change the way you think about that and change the way you act towards what you did.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I'm a Christian. I would agree with that. You turn from your sins. You put your trust in him alone, because he's the only true and living God. And you'll be forgiven and adopted and be made righteous because of Jesus Christ. So while it kind of starts out like with some sort of hellfire sort of stuff, it's actually a really great message of good news that you can be forgiven. So that's how I would go about the business of doing that. So you've done that. You've repented and put your trust in Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
You do not need to be embarrassed that you are terrified to share your faith. We all are, but we do all need to overcome our terrors and get about the business of sharing the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Terrified 2, a resource available at wretched.org, will help you overcome your witnessing heebie-jeebies and equip you to be obedient to the Great Commission. Wretched.org/terrified2.